everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 109, and today we are joined by our good friend Emma. Emma, how are we on this fine Wednesday lunchtime?
Yeah, good, thanks. Excited for the derby tonight. I don't know when this is going out, so
Yeah.
we're filming it. Yeah, I was going to say, we're filming it Wednesday morning, so derby day. Woo!
I know. Yeah, we'll do derby first, just because it's relevant at the minute. But 7 p.m. kick-off tonight. Obviously, you can watch it. It's on LFC social channels and all that, similar to the game on Sunday. So everyone can watch. Me and Emma will be going. Unfortunately for Amy, she can't attend due to current circumstances and a global pandemic. But
I know, it's a shame.
Hopefully you'll get to a game at some point this season.
Who freaking knows at this point?
Who knows? Yeah, just like we'll just say quickly our emotions, how we're feeling about it at right now. Amy, you can go first.
I feel like I'm like on the fence, because in one sort of notion I'm kind of like, yeah, I want to win because it's against Everton. It's like, yeah, come on, we beat United, we can beat them too. But then on the other hand, I'm like, please no one get injured, because we need everyone for the league. And I feel that's probably what Vicky's like as well. She's probably a bit of both. Like, yeah, I proper want to win the Blues, especially what happened last time at Anfield, and we just lost, which is great. So I think she'll want to get something back, but then equally I think there's going to be an eye on the league for sure.
Yeah. What are your feelings, Emma?
Well, we've got an international break afterwards, so as far as I'm concerned, I reckon you can go with quite a strong team.
Everyone been injured for 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, from what I've been told, I think we can expect a strong team tonight as well. I think there will be a couple of changes, but I think the Conti Cup is obviously an opportunity to play some young players. So I'd imagine if the starting lineup is quite strong, you'd expect some of the youngsters to come on to get that match experience. But I do think it'll be a strong team, because if we win tonight, then obviously they're through basically to the quarterfinals, because that 2 wins should see them through, you'd think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, who knows? I'm trying to get my head around the qualification process for the best runners up, and it just blows my mind. So let's just not even talk about that. Let's just pretend that doesn't even exist.
No. So
I'm just going to go with Liverpool. If they get 2 wins out of the 3, I think that'll put them in a very good chance of going through. But,
that's a good point, because this is the 3rd season that we've done this podcast, and I still don't know.
Well, it's changed.
The Conti Cup works.
I feel like it's changed slightly this year. It's a bit as a quick rundown, basically it's the group winners that go through. So I think is it 6 groups, and then one of the groups, because there's only 3 teams in. Hang on. So 6 group winners, 2 best runners up, and then because there's only 3 teams in one group, apparently, I haven't heard this, but a couple of other journalists are reporting this. The results against the team that finishes top and the team that finishes 3rd in the group are the only 2 results that factor into the best runners-up qualification. So,
what?
I've been on the phone to people over the last.
Doesn't make any sense.
I know. So I've been on the phone to people over the last 2 days to try and find out whether this is actually a thing, because I was like, are these journos just trolling us just to
we'll just wait. If we win, me and Lauren just wait until it gets told, and then we'll just retweet.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my answer now. I want to win.
You've both pretty much summed up my feelings. Obviously, you want to win because it's the derby, and then obviously we didn't get to play at Goodison last season, so we only got the 1 derby. So they've got one over on us, and you're thinking, no, we're not going to allow it again.
Nah.
So yeah, but then also I'm just like, just don't overdo it. But then obviously there's the international break, so I don't know. There's all kinds of emotions. I'll feel differently 5 minutes before kick-off probably, but
I feel like because we all know that what the focus is on, if it was just, I don't know, it's so hard to explain But because we know like the main focus of the season is promotion, like don't get me wrong, getting far in the Conti Cup would be great, and obviously winning against Everton would be fantastic as well. But I think I'm almost in like the boat of, okay, well, yes, if we win, absolutely fabulous, but I'm not gonna like cry myself to sleep at night knowing that we've not got further in the competition, if you know what I mean. I'm completely sold on
solidifying.
That is that it? I'm solemnly, there we go,
Solemnly
on like the league and stuff. That's the boat that I'm sitting in.
I don't know whether Amy's going to get this.
Solemnly.
It's on my I solemnly swear.
Where's your mug, Amy?
Where's your mug, Amy?
Get your mug out.
Get your mug out. I don't have one.
Aww.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just drinking out of my mug.
Yeah. So Derby, everyone can. This will go up before the kick-off, so everyone can give us like their thoughts before the match. But then, fingers crossed, it's a win for Liverpool. And Everton don't have any bragging rights because I can't cope if they do. But anyway, sticking to Liverpool just for a few more minutes. We obviously faced Blackburn on Sunday. A 0-0 draw. I think that's probably the most frustrating game I've seen for a while. Honestly, I couldn't believe that we didn't score. Like, how did we not score?
Like, it was like physically impossible not to score, I thought, until watching that game. And now physics of how to score a goal is like completely changed.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm absolutely convinced there's a force field around their goal.
Yeah.
Because no one is there, no one can check if that's right or wrong.
I mean, it's true. Like, Amy's like, she's got it. You've absolutely sussed it out. Those 2 1-on-1s from Rins, like, I just don't know. And then Emily Westropp's open goal, Jess Clark's open goal.
We should have had. It should have been about 7. I'll give them that one. Rachael Laws pulled off a very good save. It should have been about 7-1.
Oh yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm getting stressed just thinking about it. Like, it's really stressing me out.
Force field.
There's
no other logical explanation other than a force field.
Force field.
Sorry, I need to rein it in.
Do either of you have like a standout performer from that game? Because I think
Rachael Laws.
Good. Yeah.
I feel like if that game showed us anything, though, I think I spoke about this in my video after the game. I can't remember, it's that long ago. But I think I spoke about the fact that I feel like in women's football, officiating can be absolutely slaughtered sometimes. People just have a massive go, not officiating, goalkeeping. People both. Both. I'll move on to that. But people seem to have a perception that women's goalkeepers are not very good. But I think if anything, that game just demonstrated how good they actually are. Like, Alex Brooks pulled off some unbelievable saves, and Rachael Laws did that for their chance as well. So I think it highlighted how good women's goalkeepers can actually be. Put them in that scenario and they'll pull it off. So I think that was quite a big positive for both teams coming out of that fixture, although I think Blackburn will definitely be the happier team. And then going on to officiating, there was some slightly dodgy officiating going on. That's an area that I think needs to be stepped up a little bit. It was when Blackburn were through on goal and they got a goal and then she brought it back for a Blackburn free kick. I was like, we've got away with one there. What the heck?
I think she like blew the whistle as she shot.
But she had the advantage, so why would she stop it? It was super strange. The commentator was like, I'm not quite sure what's happened here, but I think we've got away with one.
That's exactly how the commentator sounded. That's exactly how they sounded.
Steve, I got you.
No, yeah. I think you're exactly right in terms of goalkeeping, that like everyone, I go back to when the Women's World Cup was on and everyone was like, oh, goalkeeping isn't good enough, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's been obviously a big talking point throughout like the last season or so. But you can see that goalkeepers are really stepping up. Like if you look at the FA Cup final, the other week. Both goalkeepers played extremely well in that as well. So
Yeah.
I think it is something that's like really improved the last couple of seasons.
Well, they're getting the coaching now. They never got the coaching before. They didn't get elite coaching. They weren't full-time professionals, whereas now they are. And you know, people look at the women's game and the development of like the game as a whole, and especially the outfield players, especially in like the last 10 years. So essentially, since teams have started to become more professional, or even the last 5 years, like the standard of like the outfield players has absolutely shot up through the roof since they've had full-time training and elite coaching and just professionalism within the game. And the goalkeepers are now getting the benefit of that. Obviously, it was, you know, there's goalkeepers that they were getting the coaching behind the players, so it's kind of like they're now playing catch up as well, and we're starting to see the benefit of that from them. So they're only going to get better from here, and it is really good to see strong individual performances. And I just wish these keyboard warriors would stop picking out clips of mistakes, because it happens in men's football. I work in men's football. I see it every single week. You know, people are talking about Jordan Pickford, who's the England #1. He makes mistakes, and this isn't me just having a pop at him because he's an Everton player, but he makes mistakes every single week for club. You know, and he's meant to be the best goalkeeper in England. So if you're looking at men's football and saying, oh well, this wouldn't happen in this game, well, it does. It happens every week, and it's the same in women's football. Goalkeepers are going to make mistakes; they absolutely are. But the standard is always improving, and that's only good for the game.
It's the nature of a goalkeeper, isn't it? You're under a spotlight all the time, so you're gonna make mistakes, and your mistakes get shown a lot more than outfield players' mistakes. Because at the end of the day, if you make a mistake, it's a goal. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's. I agree with what you said. People don't seem to think that just because women footballers make a mistake, regardless of being a goalkeeper, that it doesn't happen in the men's game. But probably more often than not, it does happen there more than in the women's game. So I agree what you say. People just need to stop.
Just stop.
Finito.
You've come up with some cracking lines so far in this podcast, Amy.
Yeah. I feel like I can't get my words out today. They're all like,
you're on top form in the Amy Lawrence day today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning feeling a bit under the weather, to be honest. So maybe that's why.
Oh, Amy.
I had a dream last night. Just side note, weird. I had a dream last night that I was vomiting up green stuff.
Why would you tell us that?
And I woke up and I was like, did I was that a dream, or did I do it last night? I definitely didn't, because I went and checked and I didn't vomit. I was like, that's such a strange dream to have, like green stuff as well. It's like that fire, it's gross. That's probably why I woke up and felt sick, because I'd felt the after effects of a dream.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I feel like, yeah. Anyway.
We'll bring it back. So England camp, the squad was announced yesterday. Obviously, Rins got a hair call up. She was called up.
Rins.
Yeah, go on, girl. She was called up for the September one. She missed out on the October one, and now she's in the November one. Obviously, she's obviously done something right in that period that she wasn't involved in the England camp for Phil Neville, for it to be on Phil Neville's radar again, and think she deserves to be called back up into this camp. What do you think? What do you think it is? What do you think she's done to get back on the radar? Anyways.
Well, I don't know. I might be a little bit controversial here. Don't get me wrong. Rins has had an amazing season. We know this. You know, we've all said it to her, and I'm really pleased to see her get her opportunity. And she did do really well when she was called up to the England squad in the first time. But I think there was obviously a couple of players missing that time. They came back for the October squad, and it seems to be this time, now that the game against Norway has been cancelled. It looks like Phil's, you know, called up a couple of players that he just wants to have a look at, and that's not saying that, you know, Rins hasn't earned a place there. She absolutely has. Anyone who gets a call up for England has deserved it, and they've earned their place, and they've clearly got talent. but you know, we see the likes of Lauren James in there as well, and I do think obviously Izzy Christensen's missed out, Tony Duggan hasn't been selected, you know, Frank Kirby's obviously out injured, Minnie Bright isn't in the squad, so there were spaces available, and like I said, because there isn't a competitive fixture, I think Phil might have brought in a couple of players that are on the fringes, and you know, I don't think it's unfair to say that Rins is on the fringe. Like, she is a fringe player. She's somebody who isn't, you know, necessarily entitled to be in that squad just yet. She has to kind of work her way into it. So I think that's maybe why she's been called back in, because it's a good opportunity to have another look at her. While there's, you know, a couple of players that aren't involved this time. Yeah. And like I said, you know, she did well last time, so you know, there was no reason for her, you know, for Phil to say, oh no, like, you know, she didn't cut it last time. You know, she did well with England, and she's, you know, still been performing well for Liverpool. So hopefully she can go, take the opportunity, work hard, impress again, and then and then next time we'll see. I think Amy.
Oh, she's gone.
Oh, that was dramatic. At least I got to finish what I was saying. So
giving some serious side eye in that frozen picture. Then
I know. Should we just wait in silence until she comes back on?
Yeah. Did you get your mug?
Hey!
What happened then?
No idea what just happened then.
Oh,
you were giving some serious side eye.
You were. I was like, God, what's your problem with my point, Amy? It's like, you get to give your opinion now.
Oh, oops.
Go on, Ames, take it away.
What did you leave? What did I leave you on?
I was talking about Rins.
Okay, so what I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with everything that you said before I made a swift exit.
You didn't hear everything I said. Don't flag it.
I did hear most of it. I got up to when you was like, you think that she's in there because some others had missed out.
Yeah, but not necessarily. Yeah, she deserves a place, but
yeah,
it was a good opportunity.
Yeah, I think when you're sort of like breaking into England team, you just take every single opportunity that you can get, don't you? So I think she'll be more than. I think it's probably in the back of her mind she will know that there are different few faces around, but I think if it was me that was in that position, I'd make sure next time, maybe when there's more on the line, such as there is a fixture to play, I'd make it so he's got no other choice but to pick me. Do you know what I mean? So it might just add a little bit more motivation to her. Not that she needs it anymore. I mean, playing for England's enough motivation in itself, and being like at the camp or whatever. But we've sort of said along each time these camps have come out that it's Phil just testing different people, seeing what works, and if there's nothing riding on it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I think it means probably more to the players that are getting called up that they're in and around it, and with chance of selection, with all the competitions coming up as well, it's sort of like free time to start planning things. So that's probably why you've seen more younger players still involved. And the other thought that I had was Alessia Russo is injured, isn't she? So that's another spot that a youngster could potentially fill. So that, and the same position as a forward. So that's another reason why maybe the selection was made.
Yeah, I think another selection that I want to have a little small chat about is obviously Laura Coombs has been called up. This is the first time she's come into the camp since 2015, I think it was. Obviously, she's been playing really well this season. She's caught the eye of a lot of people. She's clearly caught the eye of Gareth Taylor, who's involved with her in her squads. And in her midfield, obviously, she's getting ahead of certain players who have always been such key midfielders for City, like Callum Weir and Rosa Vow's obviously come in the summer, and Laura Coombs got ahead of her. But I think she deserves this England call up. She deserves the praises she's been getting, because she's played fantastic this season. She played really well against us when we played City a couple of weeks ago in the Cup. Obviously scored that amazing goal. She then scored again in the Manchester derby at the weekend. She's just had like a really good couple of weeks, hasn't she?
Yeah, well, she scored 3 goals in the last 3 games now, because she scored in that 8-1 when it was against Bristol. So yeah, she's she's absolutely on fire. I was just saying to you guys before we start recording, I'm actually speaking to her today, and I can't wait to sort of hear how much it means to her to be back in the England squad, because it's been 5 years, and I'll hold my hands up. I was one of those, and I'll admit this to her in the summer when we were talking about Sam Lewis and Rosa Valderón in City, and I was talking about their midfield, and Jill Scott and Laura Coombs were the two that I sort of left out of the equation. In my eyes, it was the two Americans, Caroline Weir and Kira Walsh, were kind of the four fighting for that 3 diamond. So the fact that she's come in and she's fought her way into that, I think it's just a credit to her as a professional and her ability as well. I mean, after that game against Liverpool at Prenton Park, I spoke to Gareth Taylor and asked him about Laura and the goal that she scored, and what I thought was quite interesting was that he said that when he stepped up and became manager and walked into the training session for like the first couple of weeks, she was one of the players who stepped up and really impressed him. So she's obviously done that on the training ground. He's given her the opportunity, and she's absolutely taken it. Like I said, she's gone and scored 3 goals in 3 games, and she's starting in derbies against United in the WSL. She's starting in sort of in the Conti Cup games, which obviously it is usually where you rotate, but she's showing that every single time Gareth Taylor's given her an opportunity, she's rewarded him by scoring goals, by performing well. So yeah, I think it's great to see her in the England squad, and like with Rins, I think she's one of those players who she's been given a chance for Phil to have a look at and just to see where she is, and hopefully she can use the opportunity and make another impression, which she seems to have done at every opportunity so far this season. So I'm really, really happy for her, because she's a lovely girl, and I know like her teammates absolutely love her. You can see when she scores a goal, the celebrations from her teammates. So she's really, really well liked, and and obviously she's had experience with England in the past. She's come through the youth group, so I don't think she'll be out of depth, but I do think it'll be quite daunting for her to sort of be back there after so long.
Yeah,
great to see.
I was going to say, I just thought of the point, obviously she's a more experienced player, but with her being out of the England camp for so long, I wonder what the balance is going to be like, whether she's going to be one of those players who sort of leads, or whether she's, obviously if the first couple of days you're going to be a bit nervous, obviously not being in and around that for a while, but because she is one of the most experienced ones, but then she hasn't been involved in an England camp for so long, it is going to be a bit of a weird dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think she's quite not shy. I don't think she's shy, but I don't think she's necessarily like going to be the loudest one in the dressing room anyway. But like I said, like she's got a really great personality, and she's so well liked that I think it'll be the people around her more than her. I think it'll be her teammates. Like there's 12 City players in that squad, so they're all going to be there, sort of applauding her, motivating her, sort of egging her on and being there for her. And I think it's more important maybe the role that they play in terms of embedding her into the England squad, because if she just walks in and feels comfortable around them, who obviously she's used to playing with, and obviously in the England squad, then I think she'll just settle in really nicely.
Definitely. Last point to end on then, obviously sticking with the Conti Cup theme, Man United women, obviously their game against Everton was postponed a couple of weeks back due to poor weather conditions. Obviously the turnaround time for getting the game replayed and stuff like that just wasn't feasible. It's come out this week that Man United have written to the FA to complain about the Everton postponement. Obviously you know a lot more about this than us, Emma, but I'll just quickly read what one of the statements said. Casey Stoney has written to the FA over the Everton's postponed game at Watton Park on the 4th of November. It was called off due to concerns around the stadium. United received a request to host the match at Lee Sports Village, but it was not feasible within 24 hours. Stoney said the club felt rules were breached and are waiting a response. Amy, when you first saw this, what were your thoughts when the first announcement that the game was postponed, and then now that you've obviously had more information on it, what were your thoughts about it?
Originally, because it came out and then I looked into it, and it's obviously to do with the safety of the stadium because of the weather conditions. And I mean, when you look at that, there's not really much Everton can do about that. I mean, you've got to put player safety first, haven't you? And then there was rumours then that Casey Stoney had said, "Okay, we'll play at Lee," and then apparently that wasn't true. So there was loads of different things flying about. It's an odd one because it seemed pretty harmless, the fact that it's postponed because of weather. And I'm sure they're able to find another feasible date, but then it's the issue of the tight schedule as it is already, and having to add another game down the line is difficult to manage to sort of plan and make that sort of work.
I think it's important to note that at no point have Man United said Everton should be punished. What they actually said in what Casey Stoney said was, her exact words, there should be consequences to it. Now, that doesn't mean there should be consequences for Everton or for, in terms of they want 3 points, which I've seen people saying on Twitter. At no point of Manchester United said we should get 3 points for this. I don't know, they might have written that in the letter, but that is not, they have not said that publicly. So as far as my understanding is, I've actually heard, and again, this isn't official, this is just what I've heard, was that there was concerns about fireworks coming onto the pitch, actually. Not sure how much of that is true. That's just something that, that I've heard. But the official line is stadium security or stadium safety for players. So that's fine. Yeah, you're right. Like, the safety of the players comes first. I don't think anyone is disputing that. Everton, I'm told, gave Manchester United, they asked Manchester United with less than 24 hours if they can host the game at Lee Sports Village. As far as I'm aware, Manchester United were they were as accommodating as they could be, in the sense that they were willing to hold the game there. But I think this is the thing that people aren't discussing, is that ultimately there's FA regulations on COVID protocols, etc. Now, I won't say anything more to that, but I think, Casey Stoney said openly that they had offered to host the game. Everton has said they asked United to host the game. So you'd expect the next course of action would have been for the FA to have made a decision on whether it should be held at LSV. Obviously, it hasn't been held at LSV, so make of what you will. And then, so then I think within 48 hours, Willie Kirk said to us yesterday in his press conference that the FA had then contacted Everton and said that the game will be rearranged. Manchester United, as far as I'm aware, within the first 24 hours weren't aware of any position about postponing. So don't know whether they got contacted within 48 hours, but they weren't told about anything within 24 hours. And then obviously Manchester United have since written to the FA and said, we think there should be consequences. And like I said, that isn't them saying we want 3 points. I think what that might be is perhaps asking for more clarity on a second stadium. In WSL, every team has to have a second stadium. So therefore, if you can't host your match in your home stadium, like, you are meant to have a backup. Liverpool had to do this with Prenton Park last season. So I don't know, there could be question marks over where Everton's second stadium is or why they couldn't play there. I don't know whether that was an option. I've not heard anything on that. They might be asking why they couldn't host it at Lee. Obviously, it was deemed that it wasn't feasible within that 24 hours. So Manchester United might have said, why couldn't it have been held there? Or they could be asking for 3 points. You don't know. But I think just as a whole, I think Casey Stoney has always been very outspoken on the professionalism of the game, and I think ultimately this safety of the players comes first, absolutely. But secondly, this just wouldn't happen in the men's game because the facilities, to be honest, are just better. So, and I think that's what the problem is that it's not
organisation's better, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not that it's Everton's fault, it's not that it's Manchester United's fault, it's the fact that a women's game, unfortunately, and a very, very good game as well, has been called off like on the day of the game because facilities are not up to scratch for the safety of the players, and that in itself is a problem. So whether or not it's an issue between Manchester United and Everton, whether or not it's an issue between Casey Stoney and Willie Kirk, like, it's all irrelevant to me, because in my eyes, the problem is the fact that, again, a facility in women's football hasn't been able to deal with, the safety of the players, and that needs to be dealt with in my eyes.
Yeah. I don't even know what to respond to that. I think you just like perfect. Everything that you could have said, you've just summed it up in that one like monologue. It's the perfect end, perfect thing to tie the podcast up on. But yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on any of the topics that we have discussed today, do let us know in the comments below. Like we said, you can watch the game tonight against Everton. I will be doing live updates and all that. Amy will have a post-match. There'll be loads of stuff that you can watch and pay attention to. So get involved with that. Emma, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, see you later. We'll FaceTime you, Amy.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
We'll put you on Zoom just next to us on the screen.
Oh my god, imagine.
But yeah.
My laptop battery would run down within about 5 minutes.
No, but yeah, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.